Hi, this is AMO Consulting Solutions, a veteran-owned small business. We are a life skills and leadership training company. We empower you to win by sharing proven life experiences. My name is Angela M. Odom, your host for this interview series. A few examples of life skills are communication, decision-making, goal-setting, financial management, and health management. Our expressed intent is to be of service to others by adding actionable and relevant content. We believe that actionable steps plus skills equal success. The life skills we are discussing today are public speaking skills and personal financial management skills. Before we get into the actionable portion of this interview, please allow me to introduce our guest today, Andrea Wingo. She served honorably in the military for over 23 years. Some of her most interesting locations have been Panama, Kosovo, Korea, Germany, Iraq, and Qatar. She's currently enrolled in a PhD program in global leadership with a specialization in organizational management. She earned cum laude for her master's degree in business administration and a bachelor's of science degree in criminal justice, along with an associate's of science degree. Andrea has a graduate certificate in project management, a green belt certificate, a Society of Human Resources professional certificate, competent leader, competent communicator distinction via Sound Off Toastmasters Club. Now, I could just go on and on and on, but I want to get to the actionable part. She has done so much, and we are very excited. Welcome, Andrea.
Hello, Angela.
And so we really do appreciate your time. We know that you are currently serving a great nation. So we do thank you so much for just cutting out a few minutes for us today. Can you please just give us an overview of your experience, first with Toastmasters, and then we'll go into financial peace, the financial peace course. But first, if it's okay, we just focus on Toastmasters and personal presentation skills. So is it okay for you to give us an overview of your experience with Toastmasters?
Yes, Angela, absolutely. Toastmasters International is a world leader in communication and leadership development with more than 332,000 members. It's an educational organization that teaches communication and leadership skills through a worldwide network of more than 15,000 clubs in 135 countries. And it helps men and women learn the arts of speaking, listening, and thinking. It is headquartered in Rancho Santa Margarita, California. My experience with Toastmasters was an exciting and phenomenal one and began in the fall of 2012 while stationed in Fort Jackson, South Carolina at the Soldier Support Institute. At the time, Lieutenant Colonel Diana Hardy was looking to establish a local chapter of the Toastmasters Club and needed interested participants to join as members of the club. I knew I had always wanted to improve my ability to effectively communicate as an individual, leader, and professional. We would meet every Wednesday for 1 hour and would open up with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and the Toastmasters mission statement. We followed a pretty basic agenda, and after a couple of sessions, I decided to join. And in doing so, I became one of the original chapter members and founders of the Fort Jackson Sound Off Toastmasters Club. In the summer of 2013, and after the elections, I succeeded Diana Hardy as the president of the Sound Off Toastmasters Club for a 6-month period and learned very valuable public speaking tips and skills such as body language and gestures, how to use the right visual aids and props in preparing for various types of speeches. What an awesome experience it was. I met some truly amazing people in such a short period of time and had so much fun learning. I earned a Toastmasters distinction of competent communicator as well as competent effective leader. In Toastmasters, let me just kind of explain the 2 tracks. In Toastmasters, you can take 2 tracks like I did and or both. So for the competent communicator, if you were just a regular or average member every week going for the competent communicator track, that track consists of prepared speeches, members given the opportunity to prepare rehearsed speeches to the group. And that consists of speech evaluations where you have different individuals get up and they will evaluate the speech that you prepared to give you feedback. And then they have what they call impromptu speaking, which is speaking off the cuff. And I don't know if you've ever heard of like table topics. So that's where you have a, they can come from a variety of areas with table topics. For the competent leaders role, if you just say you didn't really want to do speeches and you wanted to work on maybe leadership skills, they have various different leader roles, such as the grammarian, which that individual would stand up, give you the word of the day, and they want you to be able to utilize that word in your speech. You have what I call a topics master, and that person delivers the table topics. So they come up every week with whatever the table topics are for that week. You have the timer. Of course, you have the Toastmasters today, which is nothing more than the meeting's director. So that individual kind of gets up and opens everything up and kind of sets the tone for the meeting. And then you have an AHA counter, which is they track overused words and fillers. So when you say and uhs and those kind of things, they track those, just like I said, to give you feedback. And then you have the meeting speaker. Every speaker is a role model. You have the evaluator. This person provides verbal and written feedback. Then, of course, you have the general evaluator, which is somebody that gives you an overall assessment of the entire meeting. So that person evaluates everything during the club meeting. And they kind of stand up and kind of back brief the audience on, kind of what took place during the session. So why join Toastmasters? Toastmasters is for individuals 18 years or older that want to become a better public speaker. These individuals are looking to overcome public speaking fears, practice presentations for other audiences, gain the confidence and courage to lead. Some actionable tips and techniques kind of in doing so with this live cast is one of the things you want to do, and very basic, is practice and rehearse frequently prior to delivering it. So if you know that you have an important speech or there's some type of presentation that you need to put together, you want to be able to practice and rehearse. You want to organize your speech in a logical manner, opening main points, summarize your message. Visual aids should fit a speech, whether they're funny, serious, or technical. And of course, you got your gestures and body language. Eye contact establishes immediate bond with the audience. Some control mannerisms are the nervous mannerisms and expressions a speaker might not be aware of. So we don't know sometimes that when we stand up and speak and we're very nervous, a lot of people make moves with their hands or eyes or just different parts of their body that they may not be tracking that they're doing at the time. Put verbs into action when speaking to an audience by physically acting them out sometimes. Sometimes if you want to relay a particular message, putting those verbs in action kind of brings home your message as well. Avoid insincere gestures by involving the entire body as much as possible. I know for a long time, I had a fear of, I would always want to stay behind the podium. And they would say, hey, you got to get from behind the podium. You have to engage and you have to address your audience. So I had to learn to come from behind the podium and kind of walk around and just really, feel the audience and really get into what I was talking about. So moving around the stage as topics change and move toward the audience when asking questions, those are some of the more actionable tips that come to mind when I think of Toastmasters.
I was thinking about what you were saying about those things that you can't control, and I know I was thinking that must be a big checklist of all the crazy things I've done. And I was thinking about standing behind the podium and holding on to it, gripping it real hard, or
right.
The visual aids. Amazing.
It is a process.
Amazing. And so so Toastmasters, that means that anyone in and out of the military can join Toastmasters. Is that what it's for everybody? Is that right?
Absolutely. So depending on, like I said, what, whether you're in the military, definitely a professional individual, it could be a college student, could be just a student. Anybody can benefit from Toastmasters because, like I said, it truly is designed to to work on your speaking skills, definitely your listening skills, because you listen to, I'm sure you listen to people all day and you just kind of say, what did she say? Or what did he say? So it helps you get in tune to speaking correctly, using the proper words, looking up words if you don't understand. A lot of people tend to talk sometimes and they use the wrong word. So it's definitely for anybody that's willing to and that's looking forward to improving their public speaking skills.
And so when you say, is there a fee for joining Toastmasters?
There's various fees. When we started out, and the fees are based off of the number you have in attendance. When we started off at a low fee of $32. I want to say it was every 6 months, because this has just really been that long. But some of the bigger clubs, the fees could be even more. And what you're doing with the fees is you obviously get your books. So you have to pay for those books and everything that you get. And those books consist of the various different subjects or areas that you want to discuss when you're doing your briefing. So those things come from Toastmaster International. And like I said, when we finished, I want to say we got up as high as $46 when we had to renew in that 6-month period. But it's definitely based off of the number of people in attendance.
It sounds reasonable, more than reasonable. And so
Yes.
as far as a timeline for you achieving the competent leader and competent communicator distinction, what's the timeline to be able to progress towards that?
So what I did for, like I said, the booklet that I talked about, and I'm kind of remiss because I don't have the book in front of me, but there is a total of, I want to say, about 12 different areas in terms of subject areas to speak on. And at the conclusion of that 12th briefing, if you will, that's when you would have earned the competent communicator certificate or badge or ribbon, streamer that I used to give out a lot.
Okay, that's fantastic. And so, well, the first thing is thank you so much for leading that effort on Fort Jackson, South Carolina, which is located in Columbia, South Carolina. And I know you were actually stationed there. That's where we met, actually.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, thank you for leading that effort. And I know it continues now that on the installation. And so, thank you for that. And so, right this minute, people who are watching this interview, what would you say that they should do or could do immediately?
So immediately, depending on, again, what walk of life or what, maybe profession or they're into, is if this is Toastmasters is something that interests you, is there's many chapters, like I said, many local chapters within the cities that you live in. If it is something that interests you, you can definitely, pick up a phone book or maybe Google, your local chapter of the Toastmasters Club. And what I would encourage people to do is just to go and check it out. I mean, there's no obligation to go in and sit and listen to a session. It's actually fun. Actually, they may pick on you because they like to grab somebody new and get them up there for table topics. But it's nothing that a person couldn't handle. But it's truly something that you want to see if that's something that you would be interested in. But just like anything else, it's a commitment once you do. So if it is something that you're committed to working on your public speaking skills, it's a commitment. I know there, like I said, there was we did our Sound Off Toastmasters Club, but there was another few clubs that we would go to the evening raconteurs there in Columbia. So there's probably first thing that comes to mind is to go check it out for yourself.
Oh, I appreciate that. And so, in actually working on your public speaking skills, you don't necessarily have to join Toastmasters.
Right.
But some of the things that you mentioned, just being aware of really how you're coming across to people, the things that might be distracting to others at Oz. For me, I think that's my filler. And so just being aware of those things. And I think what I take from what you said is to practice. You want to get better at something, then get up and do it in front of the mirror. You could do it You can do it in front of the
Absolutely.
mirror. You can do it in front of your kids, because I rehearse in front of my son.
Right.
And he's like, oh my goodness, Mama, you talking about that again? But still, he listens. He's 10. And so you can rehearse in front of your significant other or family members. And so make sure that you actually rehearse. It might just be a particular project you're working on in your work environment that you have to present it to a group of people, or just one person, or your supervisor, or your subordinates, or your peers. But you want to make sure that you actually rehearse. Maybe you write down 2 or 3 topics that you want to dive deep in, and then any more steps or techniques, Andrea?
Well, one of the biggest thing, and I know most people get this, is eye contact. A lot of times when we talk to people, and that was something that I learned, I guess, from my parents as a child coming up, is to maintain eye contact, because sometimes it has a tendency, if you get into gestures and body language, the person can't look you in the eyes. Sometimes you tend to wonder. So even in speaking, you make sure you when you're talking to that individual, that you looking them in the eye, because you mean business, and you want them to know that you mean what you say. So that is probably another quick, actionable, everyday, step that I'm sure that most people are familiar with, is the proper eye contact.
Oh yeah, and so actually what I've told my son is, don't stare at people down, mean mugging them. Just look them in the eye.
Sure.
So thank you so much for that portion, and all those was very good actionable tips and techniques that anyone can implement or enhance or improve on. So thank you so much for that. Now we'll move on to the personal financial management at this point. So what I saw, we're Facebook friends, and so what I saw was your certificate you posted on financial peace course, and I was like, whoa, what is that? And so I wanted to know more about it. Of course, I've heard of it, but to have someone who has completed it is just so valuable. So is it okay for you to tell us, just to give us an overview of the course?
Sure. I'm going to kind of hit that towards the end, but I feel, propelled to want to share my story with finances, because it had, my track record hadn't always been a stellar one. So when I was a lot younger, I had every credit card you can imagine. I had a car payment and was going to college full time, and so I had racked up some tuition costs and fees for books, for public transportation, to get to and from campus. I worked part-time at Walmart as a cashier, later working my way up to customer service manager by the time I was 22 years of age. I had no real tangible concept of money management in terms of saving money, tracking my spending habits, building a budget. So this went on for quite some time, this habit of using credit cards and spending an insane amount of money to purchase items that I really didn't need, but just wanted to have. It all came together for me one day when I found myself close to $30,000 in debt, living at home with my parents. Again, 22, 23 years of age, working part-time. I was in debt up to my eyeballs with creditors calling the house. The car I was driving nearly got repossessed by the bank, but the bank was willing to work with me to catch up at least 2 of my payments. And of course, all of the above reflected on my credit report and impacted my credit score. So this was certainly not the kind of experience I would wish on anybody or wish on anyone, as I came really, really close to filing bankruptcy and walking away. Instead, I chose to fight, went into debt consolidation with my bills. My mom would say to me, you made those bills, you need to pay them. And that for me are what turned the whole situation around. I was actually being held accountable for my actions. So I had to take responsibility for my current situation at the time. And that really made me think. As a way to encourage myself, I would say things like, if I ever got out of this mess, I wouldn't do this again. So, but the experience itself for me was a game changer. Instead of wanting to, I went from, being in debt to wanting to spend money. Suddenly I wanted to save and invest it all, at all costs in order to improve my overall financial peace. So fast forward to the fall of 2015, here in Qatar, when I got introduced to Dave Ramsey's teaching methodology through his military educational financial peace. So financial peace is a 12-week class on money taught by David Ramsey via DVD. You are given a workbook. It's free, so you're given a workbook as Dave walks you through the basics of budgeting, dumping debt, and planning for the future. So we would meet again here every Monday night at 7. And at the end of the video training, our facilitator would conduct small group discussion on the material we covered to reinforce concepts. So that's kind of how I got introduced to Dave Ramsey. I know a lot of churches, like I said, obviously military organizations like to use the Dave Ramsey DVD video. But it was just amazing. So taking his class and having learned, I think, the hard way over the years, and again, it was much younger. So I'm in a better place right now. But taking his class has reinforced a lot of that, that I kind of had to go through and experience. Great course. I recommend it to anybody.
You know what I appreciate you're being so authentic, and that means that really we're changing lives, and you are sharing your story, and people will know. They might be stressed today, and people are calling them, and people are pushing them to be accountable. As in, let's thank goodness for your mom pushing you to be accountable and responsible. That's what mamas do.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you having the courage to take action. And so that 12-week course, you mentioned commitment earlier during the presentation portion, and a commitment again is obvious as you go through a 12-week course, where really I would imagine you're looking very closely at your habits and your needs and your wants, and closing the gaps on between that as you're learning and growing professionally and personally. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying.
Yes, the thing about personal finances is that it's 80% behavior and discipline. So, and the other 20% is head knowledge. So if you are disciplined, and again, it kind of goes back to, like you said, the commitment part. Money, I think if I had to go to college and there was a major for money, I mean, it really, truly is a well-deserving category because there's so much to money in terms of, being able to spend it and invest it and just different things with it. So I think by continuing to apply some of Dave's principles, it'll truly change your life. I mean, it'll change your life permanently if you are, like I said, if you are disciplined with it and you have that commitment. Like I said, the other 20% is basically going to the class and learning different, investing techniques and avenues. But it's really up to you. 80% of that whole money piece is up to you. It's your behavior, your discipline towards spending.
Okay, that's great. And so so for you, it sounds like it's very positive, a very positive outcome. Well, what actionable steps can you recommend our viewers take to improve their personal financial situation, or just their awareness of their spending habits?
What I would tell anybody, because this works for me, and I have a bunch of, and I thank God for these individuals, but I would say is find yourself an accountability partner. And the reason why I say that, and for most married folks, that accountability partner usually is their spouse, because usually one of the two will go out. Hopefully it's not both, but one of the two, somebody likes to spend money. And you always have that spouse is saying, what'd you do? So, and for me, what's nice is because I can open my mouth and I can communicate, because of course being single and everything like that. And as soon as I say I want to buy something extravagant, I got all these accountability partners that's saying, why you want to do that, or maybe you should save your money, or whatever the case may be. So the first step would be to definitely get you a good accountability partner, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend, whether it's a mom, a dad. Like I said, for me, it's twofold. Of course, my mom, And I'm gonna mention her, and I hopefully this doesn't offend her, but Charlene Brown is an accountability partner for me.
That's awesome.
I can call and say something, and before I can get it done, I'm shot full of holes. So, but get you a good accountability partner. The other thing I would say is practice building a budget, because of course when you have your income, you know what you make, but you have to be able to budget that money. You have to know how much you make, and hopefully if you're making $20,000 a year, you're not buying a $60,000 car, because that there's just the two don't go together. So if you get, look at your income, you start to build a budget. Dave Ramsey talks about, and I don't walk around with the envelopes. He has an envelope system, and basically all that is, you can create your own envelopes without spending money for that. But basically what it is, he has an envelope for mortgage, he has an envelope for grocery, he has an envelope for car payments, so on and so forth. And what that's designed to do is, once you put the money that you're making in that month, and that money is spent, that's it. The only probably discrepancy I would probably tell you about his course is that he doesn't talk about paying yourself first, and I think that's important. It's important to pay yourself first. So once you pay all your bills and everything, and you end up and you're broke, then at least you put away a couple of $100 or whatever case, or whatever you can afford to do that. Another actionable step would be to just track your spending. Keep up with the money that you spend. What I'm learning with Dave is that you want to, if at all possible, he doesn't believe in credit cards. So if you have a debit card, and I've put this to use many times, and I know this to be true, but if you have a debit card, because that money is usually pulling from your savings or your checking account, and when you use that debit card, you find yourself less likely to really spend a lot of money vice having a credit card. Because for some reason, when you have a credit card, you just charge it because in your mind it's like, hey, I'll make that monthly payment and everything will be okay. But when you start pulling that money from your actual savings and checking account, you find you put the brakes on that spending real quick. I don't know why that is, but that's part of the behavior and mentality that kind of gets you in. The other thing would be to set goals. So whatever your goals are in terms of saving and budgeting money, you want to always have your goals right there out front in front of you, to keep those always, in front of you to keep you on track. And then you want to save money. I mean, you just want to basically, as much as you can, save money, pay your bills, get rid of the credit cards, because the credit card, I believe, is really the true culprit. And so that by the end, when you're done, the only thing that you're probably making payments on is probably your house note. Like I have a house in South Carolina. So currently that's where my money is going, and rightfully so. Some of the other steps, would, a lot more involved, but the first thing comes to mind is if you have a emergency fund, because a lot of times too, if you don't have an emergency fund, this is what causes people to want to go out and get loans. So if you, in a nice emergency fund, you should start it off or try to get that $1,000. You always hear Dave Ramsey talk about, get that $1,000 money market account or just emergency fund, and you start putting that money away. So as it builds, when you have problems at home, like you got to go buy a refrigerator, or maybe you got to buy a set of tires, or whatever the case may be, you're not going to get a loan to get to purchase those items. You actually going into your emergency fund because you put that money away to do that. So those are some of the more detailed steps that you want to go through. And as you get up to maybe step number 3, because he has 7 baby steps, and as he gets up to step number 3,
Andrea,
you want to be
before we go into that, I just want to say about the emergency funds. I just want to make sure we're clear. Like getting my nails done is not an emergency, or if I thought I saw some nice boots, that's not an emergency. The fact that you don't have enough in your checking or your savings account, that is not an emergency. So let's just make sure we do that. And then just to go back to the pay yourself first. And so I have mine. I have some accounts that are automatic. Like if I had to touch it, then it probably would not happen. So the money does not come to my hands, and actually the money does not come to my checking account. It goes directly to a separate account that I am not going to see every day. And it start out with like a small account. You can start out with $20, $50, $150, $200, $300, $500, whatever level you're at, but pay yourself first. And so the method that I personally use is to have it automatically deducted from my main account and moved immediately before I can get to it.
Yes. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, that is my strategy. I've been doing it since I was turned on when I was at Fort Campbell. I'll never forget it, because to me it just really turned a lot of things around. But as an E5, somebody got me and kind of said, hey, you need to start. It started me off with like a money market account, and it's just amazing. When I started. So and the other good point that you bring, you don't have to. When I say pay yourself first, that might be $20. I don't know what that is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, if it's more, it's more. So under no circumstances am I saying you need to start off with $2,000, $3,000. I don't know what that is for you. So if it's $20, that $20 adds up. You just want to be able to put it away to where, as like we're describing, you can't touch it. So I remember starting out at $50, and that $50 almost broke me at just being an E5. But I look back now, as they say in church, when I look back over my life now, I'm amazed.
And so, some of our viewers are not familiar with the military. So when you say E5, how many years had you been in at that time?
So I'd been in about roughly 2 years, maybe 2 years, 6 months or so, as is going to, sergeant rank.
Going to, yes, the first leadership rank. And then the other part of that would be, so you were probably making about how much at that time per year?
Let me see. Back in, it was about 2000. That's a good question. I would say it was definitely under. It had to be up under 2,000 a month, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so somewhere in there.
So that puts it into perspective.
Correct.
So yes. Okay, go ahead with because you were on number 3 when I cut you off.
So step number. So let me just give you Dave's his 7 steps. And again, I didn't want to overwhelm anybody, because if you hadn't taken Dave's classes, he is on TV, so you can catch him. But like I said, his first step is that $1,000 to start the emergency fund. Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, that's 1,000. But like I'm saying, if it's 500 for you, if it's 300 for you, you want to work towards getting that $1,000 emergency fund. Step number 2 is paying off all debt but the house. So again, those credit cards, you want to be able to transition to where if most people have that debit card, because like I said, if you try it, if you think I'm lying, just try it. When you start pulling money from your actual account, and I'm just, people are used to buying grocery and different things like that, but I mean for everything. When you start pulling money from your debit account, you will put the brakes on a lot of spending. Vice, most people, like I said, they'll have that credit card and they say, oh, I don't get it, because they can run up the credit card and make payments every month. So you want to be able to pay off all debt but the house. At step 3, you want to start looking at 3 to 6 months of expenses and savings. So for some of us in the military, they'll say, hey, if you're about to transition, you want to save up a year's worth of pay. And for some people, that's overwhelming. But 3 to 6 months of expenses, if you can get that, and that comes out to about anywhere from $15,000 to $17,000 if you have that 3 to 6 months. For some people, if you can get that in there. And then you want to invest 15% of your household income into retirement. So again, for us, we have TSP. I have quite a few. I have at least 3, I think, Roth IRA accounts, some money market accounts, just some, like I said, I have my house. So, you ought to be able to, know what your net worth is and be able to put that money away. And then step number 5 is college funding for children. So you want to be able to set money aside for your kids. You know, I hear a lot of people, military, you know, they're using the 9/11, which is fine, but however you're doing that, transversing, you know, setting money aside for the children, you want to do that, and then you want to pay your home off early. So if you get the opportunity, and it's easy to say what I wouldn't do, but the rule of thumb is probably to finance a house and be prepared to pay that house off in 15 years, vice 30. Because 30 years, some people don't pay that house off in 30 years when they finance it for 30. Because I think people think, well, if I finance my house for 30, if they're not making double payments on the house, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So a lot of people don't pay their houses off at 30, but if you got it set up for 15, and it is more, so your monthly payments will be slightly more, but 15 years is much, you know, in the future, vice 30, if you can. If not, you know, hey, I understand. And then the other thing is you want to build wealth and give. So one of the things about money is that, you know, we don't give back. I mean, I'd give everything I had back to my church, you know, or back to you know, maybe a couple of causes that I care about. But that's an important thing, is being able to give back, you know. So as much as you know, as they say, as much is given, much is, you know, they expect more. So you want to be able to give money, you know, build your wealth, but be able to give back as well, I think.
So those actionable steps are actually, I mean, fantastic. Just first start with just get whatever your emergency fund is. Dave Ramsey recommends $1,000, and then I hear you saying start somewhere, basically. But can you just run those down real quick? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. So the first step, like I said, is you want to set aside $1,000 to start an emergency fund.
Yes.
So you can get, and I would tell you to do that quicker than not. To get the $1,000 to start your emergency fund. Number 2 is pay off all debts but the house. So any debts that you have, automobile, credit cards, whatever, make sure you pay all those bills off except your house. Number 3 is 3 to 6 months of expenses in savings. So you want to work towards, now that you got the $1,000, you want to work towards, you know, saving 3 to 6 months. You want to invest 15% of your household income into retirement, if at all possible. Step number 5 is college funding for your children. 6 is paying off your home early. So if you did do it for 30 and you still working to, you know, or you got a plan to pay it off earlier than 30, that's outstanding. And then number 7, you want to be able to build wealth and give back.
Awesome. I love that. I love how he has it laid out, and they're reasonable. I mean, quite frankly,
Right.
they're very reasonable. And so now we have gotten a lot of good information from you today, and we do, I mean, my goodness, do appreciate it. I'm thinking I'd love to just talk to you some more on a future interview, if that's okay with you.
I would love that, Angela. And like I said, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. I actually feel special because, I mean, you are one of those leaders that I just truly admire from afar. And like I said, I didn't even know you. So when I got to meet you, it was like, wow. So I really feel special. I feel honored to do this.
Well, I do. I appreciate you actually sharing that certificate, the financial peace certificate. We're going to change some lives. I mean, your actionable steps are reasonable. And guess what? That whole financial peace, when I think about the term, I'm thinking about people who are stressed out right now, trying to figure out how they're going to pay back their mama, sister's cousin, brother, boyfriend, and girlfriend, and borrowed $50 here, $20 there to go and pay for something else. Or the people that are calling them consistently saying, hey, you know, hey, how about we get a payment over here? Or just the whole, sometimes it's those college bills that they've racked up, just the loans and all that business. And so thank you. And so
one of the things too, Angela, if I may, because you kind of hit one that's really big. We like to, you know, you have friends and family that like to borrow money. And I think what I had to learn over the years is I would just probably give it to that individual as I wouldn't say as a gift, but like I had a person come to me one time and, they, light bill and everything like that was behind and everything. And rather than me give the person the money to pay the light bill, I just kind of went and paid the light bill. So it becomes, because what I've learned is that if you loan the money, you probably never get it back. But if you just kind of set, just sit there and think about it and just say, this is something I'm going to do for this individual, then you don't really look for it back. But if you loan the money, you're definitely looking for your money back, and chances are you won't get it back.
Oh, we have the same family members. Oh.
Yeah, lives and everything else. So you just make a conscious effort to do it for them. Just yeah.
So I totally agree. I totally agree with their last statement. And it's not if, it is when people come to you asking for some kind of financial support. And then for me, just like you, if my answer is yes, then it's yes without any strings. And if it's laid upon their heart to pay me back or give it back, then that's fine. If not, it's gone, and I'm okay with it. If it's going to empower somebody, uplift, then I'm good with that, because otherwise you set yourself up to ruin powerful relationships.
Absolutely.
Even being engaged with that. So be of a discerning mind, a discerning spirit, and also if it is for you to give, then give without your hand out, because your hand's going to be kind of cold. They're just hanging out there.
Absolutely.
And so, do you have any closing remarks?
Other than to just with both the public speaking as well as financial management, they're all doable. Just keep in mind that, like I said, it's just consistency. Both of them require effort and consistency, just like anything else you do. So if you want to improve your public speaking, there's practice. You rehearse. There are, like you said, whether you go to Toastmasters or not, there are different. You can get in front of your mirror and just start practicing, rehearsing. Same thing with financial peace. That is, like I said, 80% behavior. It is your behavior. It's not somebody else's behavior. So if you want to improve your financial situation, it is you to do that. Like I said, the other 20% is, basically the other 20% to me was just going through Dave Ramsey's class. But everything he kind of let you know up front, kind of started with the individual.
I love that. And I love that comment you made about having accountability partners.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. But actually, all of your recommendations are awesome. So I don't know if I can rank them one to whatever. So I do appreciate you sharing and being so authentic. Sometimes we look at people and we think we compare our insides with their outside, and we believe we're the only one with issues. Everybody's got them. And so by you sharing these powerful concepts, tips and techniques, again, thank you for that. And all of your experiences are going to help others. And so with that, thank you so much. We appreciate you serving our great nation, and we wish you safety as you return to the States. And we
94 days and a wake up.
94 days and wake up. And we wish you goodness in everything you do. So thank you. Thank you so much. And so AMO Consulting Solutions, a veteran-owned small business, is a life skills and leadership training company. We empower you to win by sharing proven life experiences, as Andrea has done today. My name, again, is Angela M. Odom, your host for this interview series. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just look for Angela M. Odom YouTube, and bam, there you go. So you can continue to get actionable and relevant life skills content. Also, to remain up to date on all of our empowering activities, we invite you to subscribe to my blog at angelaodom.com. We believe that actionable steps plus skills equals success. And so thank you and be empowered.